Today, I wanted to give you a full moon in Gemini reading. But first, I wanted to talk about some esoteric meanings that have came to me in the beginning of my journey. I started my journey as a young child. And as a young child, I was told that the Bible was a manual on how to live life. It wasn't a holy book the way people want to call it in the real sense, but it's a manual. I had that fight with my older brother at the age of 6 years old. Now, that being said, I also embarked on my spiritual journey at 4 years old. At 4 years old, I walked to church by myself because no one in my family went to church. But I knew that there was a lot of information that could be given to you in the church to understand how to deal with humanity. Okay? Not necessarily to believe what they believe, but to gather information. I've been an information gatherer all my life. Okay? I studied philosophy at the age of 10 at Age of Aquarius in Africa. So, I already was understanding the meaning of I am and I think, and what the hell critical thinking is all about. Yes? It's a school of philosophy. Descartes is a philosopher. That being said, I also went into astrology because I wanted to know, well, I see religion influences people. I see our world influencing people. But there's got to be something else influencing people. And the thing that I came up with is there's got to be something outside of this world, along with God, of course. Right? So, closer to me than God is, because God is within and without, right? I look to the planets. A lot of people are thinking that because their sun sign is a particular sign, that that's who they are. No, that's who you want to be. In your ego, right? That's how you get what you want. Okay? Then there's the moon, right? The moon is your feelings, right? The moon changes faster than anything in our galaxy for us. Okay? So I don't understand how people think, oh, well, your feelings are so real and your feelings are what makes everything. And no, the feelings, the moon passes a sign every 2.5 hours. Come on now. If you're going to hold your life to a moon, just remember every 2.5 hours, the moon is somewhere else. Okay? And then there's ascendant. The ascendant is where your wheel of fortune starts the houses. So your ascendant is the house that you were born in, based off of the time that you were born. Right? So we have so many novelists in astrology that will say, oh, I'm an Aquarius. And I'll say, oh, that's where your sun sign is. And they'll say, yes, right? However, if you're a true Aquarius, your moon, your sun, and your ascendant would all be in the house of Aquarius. You can look that up, and you cannot prove me wrong. Now, you can be taught how to be an Aquarius if you have an Aquarius ascendant. Yes. Yes. Right? You will be taught that, because that ascendant means that you were born in that house of Aquarius. This is just hypothetically an example using Aquarius, right? Because we are entering into the age, well, we're presently in the age of Aquarius. And right now, a lot of people are saying, well, what is this spiritual battle? What is this spiritual battle? Well, I will tell you, there's two different kinds of spiritual battles going on right now. One is the spiritual battle of going from the age of Pisces, right? During the age of Pisces, all of the water signs benefited from being in the age of Pisces for 2,500 years. This is a power that the water signs do not want to relinquish. So that's battle number one. Number two, now because that age of Pisces overseeing how relationships were dealt with, especially man versus woman, or man with women, right? Or man with a woman, okay? But now that we're going into the age of the Aquarius, right? This is establishing new relationships, not just technology, a new philosophy, a new way to look at marriage. Because the old way is outdated. And the number one reason is as time went on, people began to breach that covenant, right? Where the man takes care of the woman and his kids, right? Well, she's out here working just as hard as he is. She's taking care of kids, you know, and the man in her life, right? And I say the man in her life because a lot of them are having kids and they're leaving other men to take care of their kids, only to find that those kids are being molested by the stand-in parent. It's a shame. So now we have to say, okay, how is this going to work out if the children are being molested by the stand-in male of the household? Well, we can't get around it except to say, well, we're going to have to make women a priority because they're the main ones that raise the children. And they also have to be able to make their own money and possess their own property. Meaning that we have to have a structure in which women will now be able to build, create a legacy that they can transfer onto their children. Because before, it used to be a family unit mentality. But as we can see, you know, men are marrying 4, 5, 6, 7 times, you know, got concubines on the side, got other lovers, male and females, and all of these people, they all want part of his inheritance, all of them. And he probably didn't make enough money really to have more than one wife. Maybe not even enough to have one wife. Okay? So a new structure is being developed and put into place because the old one no longer works. And yes, to a lot of people that could seem like, oh, it's the apocalypse, right? Because they believed wholeheartedly, with their whole faith and every ounce of blood and water they have in their bodies, that, the old religion was the way that was going to sustain them. And I don't falter them. I love them, because if it wasn't for them creating some type of stability and trying to hold on to that stability, we would have been lost long ago. Yes, we would have. Yes, we would have. Because what we were doing before was an abomination to God. Yes, it was. But now moving forward, I see that there's a lot of people who has their eye on Saturn. They have their eye on Saturn because Saturn involves status. It involves your work and career. It involves a 34-year developmental cycle. And it's a disciplinarian on these cycles. You'll hear people talk about Saturn return. When your Saturn returns, your first, your second, and if you live long enough, your third, right? And the first one is very harsh. It is very harsh because we went through a lot of trials and errors up until the age of 30-ish, right? And we'll go through a lot more going through 30-ish to 60-ish when you get your second Saturn return. When you get your second Saturn return, it will also include bits and pieces that were unresolved in your first Saturn return. Okay? So, yes. I wanted to bring those spiritual messages to you because I felt like it was important for people to know. Another subject that I would like people to know is I would need for you all to stop cursing the first, the second, and the third house. Because let me tell you something. The first house is the house of God. The second house is the house of the goddess. And the third house is the house of the offsprings and the siblings. Okay? And every house after that, they're all in between. Okay? And I know y'all don't want to believe that. And it will be a hard pill for you to swallow. But that's the way it is. And if you curse the first house, you're cursing the self. That's the first human beings that ever walked this earth. Right? If you curse the second house, this is where the females, the goddess's house, which is the true divine feminine house. I know you don't want to believe that either. The third house is the house of intelligence, of inner intelligence, and the siblings. And then everything after that is exterior. If you'll even look at the planets, you'll see there's only 2 planets between the Earth and the Sun. And that is Venus and Mercury. That's it. That's all. You say, oh, but Mars. No, Mars is an outer planet. Right? It's not a slow-moving planet, but it's an outer planet. Just like Neptune, Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn. I have tried to encourage people to learn astrology, learn their placements, learn the percentages of those placements, then learn the aspects and the transitions. Know your cross, a burden. Yes. That way, once you know your burdens and you conquer your burdens, you can head towards your north node. And once you head towards your north node, you can excel and you can be an ascendant master, and you'll be able to retrieve gifts beyond your imaginations that you have right now. Okay, now that being said, let's go to the angel cards, because we want to hear what the angels have to say. Right? The Archangel Oracle cards. You see that? We want to know what the angels have to say for the each houses in this Saggy time, this Gemini full moon. And a lot of people don't know that Mercury is the messenger. Yes. If you will just watch how Mercury moves, Mercury is the only planet that's closest to all of the planets and the closest to the sun. So stop hating. Okay? Now, the first house we have, indigo crystal children. Yes, indigo crystal children. Archangel Metatron. In the first house, how wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I feel like you can't go wrong when you're dealing with Metatron. The second house of Taurus. Clairaudience. Archangel Zachiel. Right? Notice the loving guidance you hear inside your mind or from other people. Yes? The third house, house of Gemini, creative writing. Archangel Gabriel. Yes. And it says, make time to write down your thoughts into a journal or pen an article or book. Yes. Right? That's the third house, Gemini. How appropriate. The fourth house, victory. Yes. Archangel Sandalphon. Your prayers have been heard and answered. Have faith. Thank you. Put that where it needs to go. That's the fourth house. Right? Now, let's go on to the fifth house. Fifth house of Leo. Divine order. Archangel Raguel. Yes? Everything is how it needs to be right now. Look past illusion and see an underlying order. Yes. Everything has an order. Divine order. The sixth house. Moon cycles. Archangel Haniel. Says nurture how the moon affects your energy and manifestations and capitalize upon these cycles. And are we not talking about the Gemini full moon? Yes. The seventh house. The house of Libra. Take your power back. Archangel Raziel. Use your God-given power and intention to manifest blessings into your life. Yes. Okay. The eighth house, house of Scorpio, the counselor. Archangel Azrael. You are a natural counselor, and many people benefit from your guidance and reassurance. Talk about, transformation can be beautiful. Yes. The ninth house of Saggy. We got nurture, the Archangel Gabriel. As you nurture a child, you nurture your own inner child. Birthing abilities are important for you right now. For your soul right now. Ninth house. Okay? And then we have the 10th house. Archangel Jeremiel. The worst is now behind you, and you are surmounting any previous challenges. That sounds great. Especially when it has to do with our status, right? And career. The 11th house of associates. You need to have courage. Yes, courage. Archangel Ariel. Be courageous and stand up for your beliefs. Whatever they are. Okay? That's on you. That's on your body. And then the 12th house, the house of imagination, addictions, and sex and enemies. We have spread your wings, Archangel Ariel. Do not hold back right now. The timing is perfect and you are ready to soar. Yes. Can we get an overall message, angels? Can we? Outdoors. Archangel Jophiel, go outdoors and get some fresh air and connect with nature to relieve stress and gain new creative ideas. Yes. Okay, that's your reading.